G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bears Shed. Well, the weather report, holy dooly, what a week. It just poured at the beginning of the week and that has taken our rainfall up to just under 2 foot for the month of October. I think we're sitting on 580 something millimetres. And so, you know, that's 1 foot 11 and a half or something like that. So anyway, bloody lot of rain. And so it just poured. It brought the rivers up and the creeks in the area, but nothing major. I had staff members that couldn't get to work. Chris lives up at Yandarran, which is north of Bundaberg, and he had to have 2 days off last week. He just couldn't get in and the roads were blocked. And Nikki lives up at Gin Way and she had 2 days off as well. It wasn't bad flooding, it was sort of up and down, just storm flooding, and no real damage done to my knowledge at least. But the paddock out there, you don't want to get off the track anyway. I've been trying to sort the shed out a little bit. It got into a bit of a mess with visitors and things like that. We just dumped things in out of the rain in the front door and didn't deal with it like we should have at the time. So I've been trying to clean up. So I had a makeshift shower out the side of the shed that I'd made on a food grade pallet, a nice plastic pallet, so all our visitors for camping the fortnight ago could have a shower and have their feet up nice and dry. So I snuck around the end of the shed here, Bundy Bears Shed, with the forklift and picked it up and brought it back in and put it in its place. Then I had the boat round this other side so I could get the tractors out so grandkids and that could have a play on the tractors. So I thought, well, I got round there once, I'll go round there again and I'll take the boat around and poke it in the side of the shed, because Bundy Bears Shed's a big long rectangle and the door's at the front, and I had to get the boat out of the front door, around the side and into the shed in the side. So anyway, heading around there with the forklift and bloop, down she went. Oh shit. So I pushed the boat back. It's only a tinny, it's only light enough that you can push it. So I pushed it back out of the way and I had to get the winch on the Colorado to winch the forklift out. So pissing down rain 2 days ago. Yeah, pissing down rain, here I am out there winching this bloody forklift out. But anyway, that's life, eh? That makes things a little bit interesting. How much more interesting they need to be, I'm just not sure. But yeah, certainly gets it going for us anyway. So we're slowly getting the shed here tidied up, Bundy Bears Shed. I spoke last week about, or maybe in the week before, recently I'll say, I spoke recently about the bead blast cabinet, and the bead blast cabinet was making a mess where it was, and so it took me about a day to get it out of where it had to be, and I've got it over in a new spot next to the wall where any sand and that does come out of it, I can hose out. You know, I can clean the area better. Being up against a wall and a couple of 44-gallon drums, I have some 44-gallon drums on their side with the bottom cut off, and some of the old PDO parts, just old parts, there's probably shit really, but you know those parts, geez, they look handy, and so it's over near them, and if they get a bit of sand on them, it's of no consequence at all. So I did that, and that's not a bad thing. I'll take you over there shortly for a look, and it's right next to a big 1-inch air line, so the air's closer. Where it was before, I had to run a 1/2-inch air line to it, and it was just a big air hose I had coiled up on the ground. So I'm expecting the flow to be quite a bit better, as now I have the piece of hose that goes into it is probably 1 metre long, something like that. But it still has to go through a quick coupler, which could be restrictive. But I was going to, where the air line is in the wall there, it's inch high pressure polythene pipe, and the polythene pipe with the 2 blue lines on it, that's the high pressure stuff. And look, I've had that in half a dozen shops now, and it is great stuff. Never lets you down. The fittings lock solid, they don't leak, and if you need to, you can just put a cut in one, cut a bit out, put a T in and have a dropper and a drain tap and all that. So the black poly is great stuff, the 1-inch, and it gives you a good run around the shed. One thing I haven't done in the shed is put a loop in. Now when when you're doing air lines, instead of just come from your compressor along the wall each way and out to where you need it, in the shops where we needed a lot of power for nut guns, we found it was necessary to actually put a big loop around the shed, and then you have your droppers off that, and that way you had air coming in both directions. You had the maximum amount of air quickly, because often with nut guns that first initial 10 seconds worth of ack on there, they're the ones that do all the work for you, and then your air's dropped. And it's surprising the difference that the air will make on a nut gun. I don't have it anymore, but I used to have a 1/2-inch drive snap-on air impact gun, nut gun, and it could put out some power, that thing. But I thought it was getting a bit doughy. And anyway, the snap-on man come along, and I was telling him, I thought it might have needed a bit of a service or something like that, because they do take them away and service them for about half the price of a house. But it's all right. But look, they're a good tool, I tell you. And but I don't have need for one now. I have a Makita one now, which it's nowhere near as good, but it does the job at home here. But so yeah, we got the nut gun, and he had a little male-female adapter with a Nitto thing and a gauge on it. So we plugged it in, and because I was saying, I had really good pressure there. We had 110 pound pressure, I think, and this nut gun only needed 90 psi to give the full impact or the full torque that it was rated to. So we put this thing on, and after about 5 seconds of holding it down, my air pressure in that line had dropped to 70 pound. And even though I had a higher pressure in the line, it just couldn't get there quick enough. So in the end, we and look, I think back then that was with a little 10mm line or 3/8 or something like that. So what we did, we put the loop around the shop and the droppers down, and the bays where we used those nut guns, we put big 1/2-inch hoses, and the mains around the wall were all 1 inch, and we could maintain the 90 psi for quite a bit longer. We could maintain like 95 to 100 for a lot longer. So, but in Bundy Bears Shed, I've only got a big U. I haven't got the full loop. As down the other end there, it's not really necessary to go that way. That's mainly storage down that end and workshop up this end. And for what I need, it's fine. But I just thought, it's not hard to get off track, is it? I just thought, with the B-blast cabinet being right next to the airline there, I should have a better airflow, I believe, which is a good thing. At the moment, I've got it coming out of an air coupler, and there's a T-piece with 4 female air adapters on, and I've got it plugged into 2 of them. Now, I think that'll be temporary. What I'm going to do, or what I'm planning on doing, is making a T-piece in the line, and we'll just drop straight out of the T-piece into the blast cabinet with a bit of 1/2-inch hose, and then the cabinet's plumbed with that nylon 3/8 by the look of it, I think it would be. And so that wouldn't be a bad thing. People commented on when I was having a whinge about all the sand getting there, and when you lift the door, you'd get your hands and you'd try and scrape any sand off and bump the door before you opened it up to get rid of the door, or get rid of the sand that sat on the little shelf on the door. Well, people commented, I had a couple of comments about why not put an air blower in the cabinet. So before I opened the door, I could grab this air blower and just blow the door. And I thought, well, that's a good idea. So I've done that. I've got probably a metre of old hose I found in there, and I've got it where the box is there. I've got an air blower there, so I'm going to try that, and before I lift it up, I can just grab that air hose and blow the dust off the door and all that. And another fella I was speaking to about it, he said on some of the ones, the big industrial ones where he worked, above the glass where you look through, they had a little pipe there with some holes in it, and that just blew a little bit of clean air down across the sight glass where you look into it. And probably not a bad idea, because that is you're always cleaning that to try and have a bit of some idea what you're doing. a lot of times in Bundy Bears Shed we don't really know what we're doing, but don't tell anyone. We just poke along, and but yeah, I thought that you'd have to have a big air supply for that, because that air would have to be a separate line again, because if you took it out of your normal lines in there, it would well, it would drop your pressure too much, and you wouldn't have it working well. So anyway, we've done that. We've shifted that over there. That took ages. Yeah, getting there. I found some stuff that I'd lost years ago with the Ford 10 Series tractors. A dealer went out of business, or they stayed with the cars and they got out of the Ford tractors, and they had a big tin board there with the factory service tools, and I'd bought it. And after the flood, when we got flooded in town there, the board was up high, but I could never find the tools. And I thought, oh, everyone's just chucked them out. And I had people bringing stuff from the shed that got flooded years ago into Bundy Bears Shed here, and which was a bit of a shambles. But I thought I'd cleaned it all up. But look, shifting the bench out of the way, I found this box of stuff. Well, what they'd done at the time was they chucked all the shit into the box, didn't clean any of it, and just chucked it on the box and chucked it on the floor, and I'd found that, and they must have stuck it on these drums and it slid down under where, sort of behind everything, where we've been pressure cleaning the floor in the past. We've got them wet, so some of it's a bit rusty. So, but look, I was glad to find those special tools again. It was something good to find. I'm not sure they're all there. I haven't gone through them, but I'll have to bead blast them all up, and some of them look like they'd been blued, you know, like gun blue, I think you would call it. So I've got a bit of work to do there, but there's flow test fittings and all that sort of thing. So with that, the 4600 Ford tractor I've got outside there with the buggered engine, well, it'll be some of the tools for testing that when we get it going. So that won't be bad video either. That'll be a bit alright. On the arbor press, look, I've been fiddling with the arbor press still. It's going okay. The stand that I had it on, I've got 2 bits of angle iron on it, and I just cut them off with the oxy yesterday, and I've got to grind that up and weld that so it's got a good base now. And then on the angles there's 2 holes in the side, and so we're going to put 2 pegs in there and tap and thread it in, so instead of being bolted down flat, it'll be bolted in the sides. There's a big heap of meat there, so we should be able to turn up just a couple of spigots for those holes, and that'll be okay. But whether we get to that this weekend, I don't know. I have to go up to the house again shortly. Jude's got a new stove coming, so the Sparky's coming to wire up the new stove, and so I suppose he'll want to lift in. And it's we've had a gas cooktop on the bench. Then under the bench we've had an electric oven. We've been here 15 years, I suppose, and the gas cooktop was starting to play up, and the little strikers were playing up, and look, it was just looking second hand, and so we decided to put a new one. So because we have solar power on the roof here, we have a 5 kilowatt system on the roof, and electricity prices in Australia are just something shocking. And but because we don't use an awful lot of power, even with the shed here we don't use an awful lot of power, we get about $1,000 to $1,200 a year check for our power. We don't pay for power through the year, so we get no power bills, and we get about $1,000 to $1,200 a year rebate off the government because we signed up very early. And when we put the system in, it cost about $13,000, and we're thinking, holy shit, that's a lot of money. But look, it's certainly paid for itself. We've, just guessing, probably had it 6 or 7 years now, and it's going good. And we got until 2026. We had it for 16 years anyway before they put us on the different price plan, I suppose, for want of a better word. But so with that, we've decided to go for a glass electric cooktop. So it's just a nice glass top with the elements under it there somewhere. And so we're getting that wired up today because we thought, well, why why have a gas bill every couple of months for the cooktop when we got all this free power? And I know we'll get less back as our check, but if we're not using as much as we're generating, well, fine. So yeah, so new oven. So we're still having an electric oven, which was what we've had for years, but instead of a gas cooktop, we're going to go to an electric one. And I always liked gas because it was so quick and that. But anyway, times change, so we'll change with it, I suppose. I've also on the new Mitsubishi Triton, I've got a bull bar fitted. Look, I've had it since March, and I was onto Iron Man, or the Iron Man agent. It's A to Z 4x4 in Bundy here, and Dan that owns it, he used to be a cane harvester mechanic, and we sort of knew each other from out on the road from years ago. So we've gone down to Dan to get it all fitted up, and because with a bull bar on a car, all I need is a winch mount and somewhere to put my spotlights and my UHF aerial. I don't need all the, like most of my four-wheel driving's on the beach, and so I didn't want the hoops that went over the eyes and all that. I just wanted a nice polished stainless steel bar that I can put my spotties in underneath it, and yeah, giving me a bit of frontal protection and a winch, because sometimes when you get up the beach, or you know where we go out bush buggering around sometimes, a winch is handy. Well, it was handy to get the forklift out the other day in the Colorado, but so look, it took them ages to get this bull bar because they didn't have what I wanted in stock, and I said, well, let's make one. And so we got the bull bar, and the bull bar was the one I wanted. Like, it's a white car with a black rear protection bumper, and the only colour they made this bloody thing in, the bumper replacement one, was silver, which had me rooted. But anyway, because black goes with most colours, you would reckon. So anyway, we got it, and then we had to send it away and get it powder coated black. So it got all cleaned up and powder coated black, and they fitted it a month or more ago, a couple of months ago, and yeah, with no hoop because we couldn't get the hoop. But Iron Man brought the hoops in, little Mozzie's around with all the water. Yeah, they couldn't supply the hoop. So anyway, I rang them the other day, and they said, oh, the hoops just come in, so well, we don't know when we can fit it. And I said, well, don't worry about that, give it to me, I'll take it home and fit it. So Saturday morning I fitted the hoop and put the UHF aerial on, and new little bumper rubbers, and the UHF aerial is sitting there, but it's not into the cabin. The UHF's hooked up and all, but it's just the aerial's not hooked up into the main thing, the main box. I'm going to wait until I wire up the spotlights, and then I'll run the wires in together. So yeah, that I thought I'd just pop under there and bang it on, but it took me best part of half a day. By the time I took all the sump guards off, then I sat it on, and then the bumper rubbers, the holes didn't line up, so they gave me new bumper rubbers, but I thought, oh well, I'll just keep them new and I'll use the old ones. But they're different bumper rubbers, the holes are a different offset. So anyway, that's all done, and it's not a bad thing. Then yesterday was a visitor's day on Sunday. I come up the shed, sorting out the bead glass cabinet over here, and trying to have a bit of a tidy up because I need to do a bit more Fergie filming. But I've just got shit everywhere, and I can't. Until I've got the good spot to work, I find it hard to concentrate on it properly. So I've been trying to clean that up. And then I had visitors coming, and I bought a tractor off a bloke, a grey Fergie off a bloke about a year ago, and he bought it, he was out somewhere and he saw it and he bought it home, and then he decided he didn't want it. So it's a little grey Fergie, a TED 20, and the TED is petrol kerosene, so he didn't want it, and he didn't pay much for it, and he's got a business with tractors and that, so I ended up swapping him a 44-gallon drum of engine oil for it. And anyway, he's been ages. I've dealt with him before, and he's been ages getting this tractor to me, like about a year, we reckon. And so the drum of oil I had there for him, I'd sold it and got it back again, and sold it and got it back again. So finally on yesterday he rolls in, he said, I'll grab your trailer and go and pick up that tractor. I was, holy shit, okay. because I was up the shed having a beer Friday arvo, and he come past and he said, "I'll bring that tractor up on the weekend." And I thought, oh yeah, you know, I've heard this before. And anyway, yesterday about lunchtime he rolls in, grabs my trailer and scoots off and brings it back with this little tractor on it. This little TED 20. So a TEA 20, TEA is petrol only, TED is petrol kero, or TVO I think you'd call it overseas, and the TEF is the diesel one. So that gives us a collection of 3. This one runs but not for long, but I've just pulled the fuel bowl off it and a few things, so I'll probably actually just gin around with that a bit today and try and get it running only. Yeah, just I'm not going to pull it apart or start restoring it or anything. I'm going to get it running so I can hop on it and drive it around and park it in the shed out of the weather and park it out again and do a few things like that. So it's mainly just going to be to get it going only, and yeah, that'll be another another tractor. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, it's Monday morning now, Tuesday afternoon there's a fella got a heap of stuff. He's had the scrappies in at his place, and he's found an old Farmall 100 that he bought to restore years ago and hasn't done anything with it. And with it sitting there, the tyres are rotted off and the engine is seized, just stuck from sitting, because it did drive, it did run and everything. So, which is the story you hear all the time. But so tomorrow we go and have a look at that. But look, they're not worth much. Tractors aren't really selling at the moment. It's a buyer's market. If you're looking to get into a tractor to restore or to play, it's time to buy now, because the market is really down to what it has been. So, but anyway, look, I'll take you for a bit of a walk around with the camera, and we'll just show you a few jobs we've been doing through the week here, and yeah, just show you about a bit. Well, this is the stand for the arbor press, and I've got it over near the welding bench here, and you can see we've got bits of angle iron coming across here, and there was a steel base here, and I've just blown that off with the oxy earlier, and that needs to be tidied up. Then I'm going to weld these angle irons on, then lift the arbor press off and weld it inside and tidy it up and that a bit. But what the idea is these holes here, they're 3/4, and where the holes here are that they planned on you bolting it down, well, that sort of bumps into the post and that on this old stand that I'm trying to put it on. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a couple of steel slugs and go in there, dowels for want of a better word, and then we're going to drill them 3/8 and tap them, and well, we're going to drill and tap the arbor base, and we're going to have through holes here. So when we push it through them, do the bolts up, we're going to have a 3/4 dowel at the front, a 3/4 dowel at the back on both sides with 3/8 bolts holding it, and that'll be plenty for the pressure that I can put on this arbor press here. So, but the handle seems to be working well, not that I've done too much with it, but doesn't seem to want to go anywhere, so that's good. Yeah, so perhaps later today I'll get this tidied up and welded, and maybe a bit of turning on there, but I'll probably go and play with this Fugi and get it running so I can get it off the trailer and all that. So, anyway, that's that little bit. This is some of the mess from under the bead blast cabinet. So yeah, I've had to cover everything up and get a bit of sand. When I put it there, someone said, don't put it there, it'll put shit everywhere, but I didn't have on my mind that I could put anything anywhere else. And you can see on the shelf here, I've got to go through all of this now and clean all that up. So that's another job I didn't really need, but anyway, that's how it goes. Hopefully I've got it in a better place now, and I was thinking of bringing the press around here. And that over there is where the bead blast cabinet is. Here's the back door, that's all glary. That's the shit I got out of the way, old hoses and that. I'll have to deal with all that yet. This is some of the stuff that was the Ford special tools I bought. years ago, and look, they just got dumped in a box, and yeah, they've got put on some drums and must have fell down to the ground, and I didn't even know where to look for them. So I've got a little bit of work there, and you can see the cardboard box over the back there. That was the one that they were in, so they've been in a bit of a hard way for a little while. And at the moment we have the manifold there, so that will be restricting air, and these two hoses, they go into the bead blast cabinet, where I have inch polythene pipe for air lines just sitting up in there. So what the idea will be is to run that straight into the blast cabinet. Then what I've done with the cabinet here, as you can see the line coming through the wall there, and that gives us an air nozzle in there to blow things off. And the pedal on the floor for using the blast nozzle or the bead blaster, you have to have the door shut or you have no air supply. But I thought that would be a bit of a nuisance with the air blower, because sometimes when you've got the thing open here, you could actually blow a bit of dirt and shit out of it. You know, the extra sand that gets into the nooks and crannies on parts, you could actually blow that out in there. So it'd probably be a benefit not to have that. So look, that's all there, and I've got it so I can service it easy. It's still a little bit close to the Maxon lathe here. I'll probably have to, that's all our power boards and things, but we'll probably have to keep that covered up. But in this direction it's no worries. And I do have a parts washer here that I dumped everything into yesterday in a hurry, drummer CRC and everything. I have to clean out yet, but it's one of those things, you start one job and away you go, and you start about 15 other ones. Well, there you go, nice polished stainless bull bar on the Triton. Still working on that one yet, but yeah, should have spotties coming this week. They'll sit in there's holes there, those bigger holes you see on the top there to get your hand in to disengage the winch. And it's got a 12,000 pound winch on it with a Dyneema rope in it, so you should be able to pull the bend out of a creek. So yeah, work in progress like everything else. And there you go, hey, what a beauty. It's got an old Ford 8 or 9 end bonnet on it, and round the back they just cut it off with an oxy. I've got the fuel bowl off it at the moment. We're going to clean that out. I have a battery down on the floor there that we're going to crank her up. Tim, the bloke I bought it off, he said he could actually get it running, but it would only run for a few minutes and then it'd starve or something like that. So it's got the later model 28G carburettor on it. I've got the oil bath air cleaner off it at the moment because this tractor has been sitting out in the weather, and sometimes those oil baths fill up and then you try and crank the engine over and you just give yourself a belly full of oily shit up in the air cleaner there. So yeah, look, it was a cheap one. It was one of those things. I bought it ages ago. Before I had the diesel one, I bought this one, and then I bought the diesel, and yeah, Kelly dog, she'd been on some important business apparently. But yeah, so that gives me the full set now of the TEA, TEF and TED. Like Mel from Lincoln says, they're like bums, everyone's got these Fergies. So but anyway, that'll keep me amused for a little while longer. And I've just pressurised the hoses a little bit, and there's a little water pump leak. just dripping away. This is 1952 model. So, yeah, it's got a couple of years under its belt.